Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. Today we will learn about the biotransformation of genobiotics by enzymes, and name of the module is biotransformation by enzymes. In this module, I will explain about biotransformation, types of biotransformation, genobiotics and their sources, role of biotransformation and its advantages. The learning objectives of this module are: first one is to familiarize the concept of biotransformation. Second one is to study the process of enzymatic biotransformation. Third one is to familiarize the properties, distribution and stereochemical aspects of enzymes involved in biotransformation. Before the introduction of biotransformation, first let's know about the genobiotics. Genobiotic is defined as a chemical or molecule that is foreign and exerts a variety of effects on the biological system. These effects may be beneficial in case of drugs or deleterious in case of poisons. The origin of these toxins that are present in our bodies, commonly referred to as xenobiotics, comes from an array of sources. These sources include exogenous sources that include environmental exposure, such as in the air we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink, and medications, and the endogenous sources such as the products produced by digestion, energy metabolism, tissue regeneration, and end products from the metabolism of hormones, bacterial bioproducts, and other complex molecules. Other xenobiotics include natural and manufactured chemicals such as drugs, industrial chemicals, pesticides, pollutants, pyrolysis products in cooked food, alkaloids, secondary plant metabolites, and toxins produced by molds, plants, and animals. If we talk about the nature of the xenobiotics, mostly they are lipophilic in nature, due to which they are easily absorbed through the skin, lungs, or gastrointestinal tract and cannot be easily eliminated from the body. So to remove the xenobiotics from the body, it needs detoxification. Detoxification is the process of transforming and removing xenobiotics that are potentially harmful to the body. Elimination of xenobiotics often depends on their conversion to water-soluble chemicals. So the process of transforming toxins into a form suitable for excretion is called biotransformation. Biotransformations are structural modification of a chemical compound by organisms or enzyme systems that lead to the formation of molecules with relatively greater polarity. The chemical process through which the endogenous or exogenous chemicals are modified into water-soluble products so that they can be easily eliminated from the body. Without biotransformation, lipophilic xenobiotics would be excreted from the body, so slowly that they would eventually overwhelm and kill an organism. Natural biotransformation mechanisms are catalyzed by enzymes in the liver and other tissues. However, the natural transformation process is slow, non-specific, and less productive. The most significant aspect of biotransformation is that it maintains the original carbon skeleton after obtaining the products. Now, let's talk about the enzyme induction in biotransformation. Genobiotic biotransformation is the principal mechanism for maintaining homeostasis during exposure of organisms to small foreign molecules such as drugs. In general, genobiotic biotransformation is accomplished by a limited number of enzymes with broad spectrum specificities. The synthesis of some of these enzymes is triggered by the genobiotic by the process of enzyme induction. However, in most of the cases, the enzymes are expressed constitutively, that is, they are synthesized in the absence of discernible external stimulus. Enzyme induction is an adaptive and reversible response to xenobiotic exposure. It enables some xenobiotics to accelerate their own biotransformation and elimination. The drugs which bring about these changes are known as enzyme inducer. Some examples include anticonvulsants like phenytoin, carbamazepine, and chronic alcoholism. Others include various sedatives, hypnotics, tranquilizers, and insecticides. Likewise, certain drugs exhibit autometabolism, a process in which certain drugs are taken together where one acts as an enzyme inducer for other causing increased metabolism of them. Enzyme induction is brought about by gene transcription. Enzyme induction leads to decreased levels of the parent drug and increased levels of metabolites. At certain times, the process also results in the formation of toxic metabolites. The rate of reactions increases, thereby converting the parent drug faster. Generally, drugs following first pass metabolism have decreased bioavailability. Some enzyme inducer includes rifampicin, increases metabolism of digitoxin, barbiturates, chloral hydrate, and erythromycin. Now, coming to the consequences of enzyme induction. The consequences of enzyme induction includes now coming to the consequences of enzyme induction. The consequences of enzyme induction includes decreased intensity and duration for action of drugs. For example, failure of contraceptives, increased intensity of action of drugs activated by metabolism. For example, acute paracetamol toxicity is due to one of its metabolites. If drug induces its own metabolism, enzyme induction might increase porphyrin synthesis. Intermittent use of an inducer might interfere adjustment of dose of another drug. For example, oral anticoagulants, oral hypoglycemic, etc. Let's discuss about the another phenomenon, that is autoinduction. Autoinduction is a phenomenon in which a drug induces metabolism of other drugs and its own. Enzyme inhibition. It is defined as a process in which metabolizing capacity of an enzyme is decreased, thereby decreasing the rate of metabolism of the drug. Drugs that bring about these changes are known as enzyme inhibitors. For example, it includes ketoconazole, antifungal drug. Enzyme inhibition is a rapid process and is considered most critical for the drugs having a large therapeutic index. Competitive binding of the drug occurs at the active site of the enzyme receptors and thereby leads to decreased metabolism. The decrease in the metabolism rate of the drug increases the level of parent drug and decreases the level of metabolites. At certain times, serious drug-drug interactions might occur due to increased half-life of plasma. For example, sulfonamides decreases the metabolism of phenytoin so that its blood vessels become toxic. Metabolism of tolbutamide is inhibited by phenylbutazone or coumarins, leading to prolonged hypoglycemia. Oral contraceptives inhibit metabolism of antipyrin. Further, talk about the various properties of xenobiotic biotransforming enzymes. Xenobiotic biotransforming enzymes are limited with broad substrate specificity. The enzymes are usually expressed constitutively, but sometimes the synthesis of some of these enzymes is triggered by xenobiotic itself by the process of enzyme induction. The specificity of xenobiotic biotransforming enzymes is so broad that they metabolize a large variety of endogenous chemicals such as ethanol, acetone, steroid hormones, vitamin A and D. Xenobiotic biotransforming enzymes or enzymes that are closely related play an important role in the synthesis of many of these same molecules. For example, several steps in the synthesis of steroid hormones are catalyzed by cytochrome P450 enzymes in steroidogenic tissues. In general, these steroidogenic enzymes play little or no role in the biotransformation of xenobiotics. In the liver, however, other cytochrome P450 enzymes convert steroid hormones into water-soluble metabolites that are excreted in urine or bile in an analogous manner to the biotransformation and elimination of xenobiotics. The structure of a given biotransforming enzyme may differ among individuals, which can give rise to differences in rates of xenobiotic biotransformation. In general, a variant form of a xenobiotic biotransforming enzyme has diminished enzymatic activity when compared to wild-type enzyme. However, the impact of amino acid substitution on the catalytic activity of xenobiotic biotransforming enzyme is usually substrate dependent, such that an allelic variant may interact normally with some substrates but abnormally with others. The study of the causes, prevalence and impact of heritable differences in xenobiotic biotransforming enzymes is known as pharmacogenetics. Distribution of xenobiotic biotransforming enzymes. Xenobiotic biotransforming enzymes are widely distributed throughout the body. These enzymes are also located in skin, lung, nasal mucosa, eye and gastrointestinal tract. Their location is rationalized on the basis that these are major routes of exposure to xenobiotics. They are also expressed in several other tissues such as the kidney, adrenal, pancreas, spleen, heart, brain, testis, ovary, placenta, plasma, erythrocytes, platelets, lymphocytes and aorta. In vertebrates, the liver is the richest source of enzymes catalyzing biotransformation reactions. Within the liver, the enzymes catalyzing xenobiotic biotransformation reactions are located primarily in the endoplasmic reticulum or the cytoplasm, with lesser amounts in mitochondria, nuclei and lysosomes. Their presence in the endoplasmic reticulum can be rationalized on the basis that the xenobiotics requiring biotransformation for urinary or biliary excretion will be lipophilic and hence soluble in the lipid bilayer of the endoplasmic reticulum. Intestinal microflora plays an important role in the biotransformation of certain xenobiotics. Likewise, nasal epithelium plays an important role in the biotransformation of inhaled xenobiotics, including odorants. It is quantitatively unimportant in the biotransformation of orally ingested xenobiotics. Now, figure 2 describing the interaction of the body with the xenobiotics, including exposure, uptake, transport, storage, metabolism and excretion. This diagram depicts the various routes of xenobiotics entry into the body through food, air we inhale, through skin and other endogenous xenobiotic. After that, the xenobiotics is uptake by the GIT, then to blood or lymph, then kidneys, then after kidneys eliminated through the urine. Now coming to the stereochemical aspects of xenobiotic biotransformation, xenobiotics, especially drug, exits as enantiomers or stereoisomers as they contain one or more chiral centers. Biotransformation of chiral xenobiotics occurs stereoselectively, that is, one enantiomer is biotransformed faster than its antipode. For example, in humans, the anti-epileptic drug mesentoin, a racemic mixture of R and S mefitoin, is a biotransformed stereoselectively, such that the S enantiomer is rapidly hydroxylated and eliminated faster than the R enantiomer. Likewise, xenobiotic biotransforming enzymes can also be inhibited stereoselectively by some chiral xenobiotics. For example, quinidine drug, a potent inhibitor of a human cytochrome P450 enzyme, its enantiomer quinine has relatively little inhibitory effect. In cases of achiral xenobiotics, they are first converted to a mixture of enantiomeric metabolites stereoselectively, such that one enantiomer is formed preferentially over its antipode. Example, several cytochrome P450 enzymes catalyze the 6-hydroxylation of steroid hormones. Some P450 enzymes preferentially catalyze the 6-hydroxylation reaction, whereas other P450 enzymes preferentially catalyze the 6-beta-hydroxylation reaction, which is considered the major route of hepatic steroid biotransformation. Now coming to the biotransformation reactions, during the biotransformation process, xenobiotics interacts with the biotransforming enzymes and may change the toxicant to either a less or a more toxic form. These reactions catalyzed by xenobiotic biotransforming enzymes are generally divided into two groups called phase 1 and phase 2. These phase 1 and phase 2 reactions may occur simultaneously or sequentially. Phase 1 reactions. Now, phase 1 reaction is a catabolic process that breaks down the toxicant into various components. It involves hydrolysis, reduction, and oxidation that introduce polar chemical moieties either by inserting new polar functional groups or by interchanging or unmasking existing functional groups that results in a small increase in hydrophilicity. Phase 1 reactions are non-synthetic in nature and in general produce a more water-soluble and less active metabolites. Now figure 3 depicts the details of the elimination of toxins by biotransformation reaction by phase 1 and phase 2 reactions for its easy elimination from the body. In this, first of all, any toxin that is non-polar in nature undergoes to phase 1 reaction, whereas the toxin act as a intermediary metabolite which is somewhat polar. Further, it undergoes to phase 2 reaction and it will be polar in nature. And due to polar nature, it can be easily soluble in water and eliminated from the body through urine and fecal matter. Now, these are the various reactions which occurs in phase 1 and phase 2, that is oxidation and hydroxylation. Hydroxylation of aromatic ring, for example, phenobarbital is converted into para-hydroxy-phenobarbital, aliphatic hydroxylation. For example, meprobamate is converted into hydroxy-meprobamate dealkylation. Conversion of methylbarbital into phenobarbital. Next one is orthodealkylation. In this, conversion of codeine into morphine, and N-oxidation, conversion of aniline into nitrobenzene. In sulfooxidation, conversion of chlorpromazine into chlorpromazine. In sulfoxide deamination, conversion of amphetamine into phenylacetate. In desulfuration, conversion of parathioin into paraoxone. In case of reduction, chloramphenicol, and in case of hydrolysis, esters, procaine, aspirin, and in case of amides, procanamide and lidocaine. Phase 1 reactions are mediated by enzymes such as cytochrome P450, esterases, and amidases. CYP enzymes are the most important enzymes responsible for the pharmacological activation of many drugs. Many toxicants are metabolized by the enzymes cytochrome P450 reductase and cytochrome P450 in association with NADPH, a coenzyme present in most cells and interacts with various substances during normal cell metabolism. These two enzymes are found in abundance in endoplasmic reticulum of liver cells. When these enzymes interact with the toxic molecule, one atom of the oxygen is attached to the toxic molecule and another oxygen atom interacts with the hydrogen to form water. Next is cytochrome P450. Cytochrome P450 is the main element in the liver's metabolic process. They are widely distributed among tissues, especially located in the mitochondria and endoplasmic reticulum. They are present in all living things, including viruses, bacteria, animals, plants, and fungi. CYP450 comprises a family of proteins that exists in multiple forms. They have very broad specificity and can metabolize many xenobiotics. They are also responsible for catalyzing many types of reactions. These reactions are active in transforming multiple substrates that metabolize about 90% of drugs that are consumed. Their levels can be increased based on their exposure to chemicals in the food, water, or air. These enzymes are essential to the metabolism of vitamin D, hormones, cholesterol, and fatty acids. They function in the metabolism of prostacyclins and thromboxane, which are key to the process of blood clotting. CYPs are also critical in the body ability to detoxify foreign chemicals. CYPs are responsible for deactivating drugs in several ways by oxidizing the substrate, by catalyzing the substrate, or by assisting in excreting substrate waste. CYPs can also change an initial drug or prodrug into an active form that the body can use. Many nutrients, medications, and herbal therapies are metabolized through the CYP450 enzyme systems. Now the consequences of phase 1 reactions. In this, active drug may be converted into inactive metabolite. Active parent drug inactivation may terminate biological activity. Active drug may be converted into active metabolite. For example, morphine is converted into active metabolites. Prodrug may be converted into active metabolite. Active drug may be converted into toxic metabolite. For example, halothane used in general anesthesia is converted into trifluoroacetylated compound or trifluoroacetic acid, leading to hepatic toxicity. Biotransformation of xenobiotics to mutagenic or carcinogenic agents. Conversion of xenobiotics into harmless compound. Every 10 molecules of cytochrome P450, only one NADPH cytochrome reductase is present. In case of phase 2 reactions, small endogenous polar molecule conjugate with the functional groups formed during phase 1 reaction to form less toxic water soluble compounds, thereby favoring excretion. This type of reaction is referred to as a conjugation. Direct conjugation of endogenous molecules can also occur if the compound already contains appropriate functional groups. These conjugative reactions are mediated by enzymes such as glucuronosyl transferase, sulfotransferase, and N-acetyl transferase. Most phase 2 biotransformation reactions result in a large increase in xenobiotic hydrophilicity, hence they greatly promote the excretion of foreign chemicals. Phase 2 biotransformation of xenobiotics may or may not be preceded by phase 1 biotransformation. Now coming to the figure 4. Figure 4 showing the schematic representation detailing the biotransformation of drug RH by cytochrome P450. In this figure we can see the flavoprotein is reduced, that is Fe3 plus to Fe2 plus, and NADPH is converted into NADP plus by releasing electrons. There are several types of phase 2 reactions, of which glucuronidation is probably the most important. Conjugation with glucuronidation occurs as a result of the conjugation of glucuronidation acid with either a metabolite from phase 1 reaction or with the parent compound. There are several chemical compounds that interact with glucuronic acid such as alcohols, carboxylic acids, compounds, and amines. Likewise, conjugation with glutathione is another important phase 2 reaction that renders highly toxic metabolites harmless. Conjugation of these intermediates with glutathione prevents binding with the nucleic acid, therefore preventing the occurrence of mutations. Metabolites of organic solvents such as benzene, chloroform, and carbon tetrachloride are conjugated with glutathione, resulting in decreased toxicity. Now, the role of toxic intermediate product produced during biotransformation reaction and its effects on the body depends on the rate at which the intermediate undergoes further metabolism to less toxic substances, rate at which it is produced and accumulated in cells, the type of cellular damage caused by the toxic intermediate, and the factors that affect excretion of the toxic material. Phase 1 and phase 2 reactions are designed to deactivate toxic substances by increasing water solubility and excretion of toxic substances. However, these reactions may also bioactivate some toxicants by transforming inactive non-toxic molecules to active toxic forms. Now, phase 2 reactions lead to usually inactivation of drug, production of water-soluble metabolites, which is the main aim of biotransformation. Usually detoxification reactions for xenobiotics. There are some important exceptions. Toxic metabolites may be produced by their activation. For example, methanol is converted into formaldehyde, which is toxic. Certain conjugation reactions may lead to the formation of reactive species responsible for the hepatotoxicity of drugs. Products produced might be more potent, for example, M6P. Reactions are mainly conjugate reactions. Normally, phase 1 reactions are followed by phase 2 reactions, but in case of isoniazid, Phase 2 reactions occur before phase 1 reactions because N-acetyl moiety acts as an endogenous substrate for the conjugation reaction. This is followed by phase 1 hydrolysis to isonicotinic acid. Effects of phase 2 reactions on drugs: lipid solubility is totally converted into solubility. Drugs are generally inactivated. Sometimes drugs are activated. Morphine is activated to morphine 6-glucuronide. Phase 3 reactions. Some reactions coupled with excretory pumps in the cell membrane are known as phase 3 reactions. Drugs undergoing these reactions is still the subject of extensive research even today. Now coming to the table 1. Table 1 illustrates the enzymes that catalyze the phase 1 and phase 2 biotransformation reactions and location where the reactions occurs in the body. In phase 1, various reactions such as hydrolysis, reduction and oxidation occurs, and their enzymes include esterase, peptidase, xanthine oxidase are localized in microsomes, cytosol, mitochondria and lysosomes, etc. And same way in the phase 2. Now at the end, to summarize this module, we have learnt about biotransformation, enzymes involved in biotransformation, properties and distribution of enzymes involved in biotransformation, stereochemical aspects of biotransformation, enzymatic reactions that are involved in biotransformation. Dear students, I hope this session would have given you an insight into the topic. Thank you very much.